Hi there, it's Tim McCallum from Fermyon. As you may well know, we released Spin version 2 recently, and one of the subtle changes I've seen is the way in which we implement our interaction with Redis. So today we're going to have a look at the syntax for Spin version 2 and how we connect to Redis and how we interact with Redis. Now, a great resource to always start with is our developer documentation. This can be found at developer.fermyon.com. Today, for this video, we'll be looking specifically at this page, which documents how to write and deploy a Spin application to Fermyon Cloud, one that can interact with a Redis Labs account. So we will be using a free database from Redis Labs. So if you'd like to follow along, you can go along to app.redislabs.com. Log in and get set up over there, and then continue on with this tutorial. So in terms of Spin, if you haven't already done so, please go ahead and install Spin. If you're on version 1, go ahead and upgrade to version 2. We're going to go and run this template command here to make sure that we are synced with the latest Spin SDKs and templates that we'll be interacting with. Okay, now we'll create a new application by passing the HTTP Rust template as a parameter. Note the -t for template, followed by HTTP Rust. We enter a name for our app and also a description. The HTTP Rust template we passed in tells Spin to go ahead and scaffold an entire application, including our application manifest, the spin.toml file, a source directory, and all the Rust source code. At the moment, this code is just a placeholder that will return hello world in response to an incoming request. So let's get back to this Redis specific tutorial. Now there's a couple of pieces of config required. To get these sorted, we open up our spin.toml file for editing. We add the Redis Labs endpoint, complete with username, password, URL, and port. There are other ways of authenticating, but they're outside of the scope of this tutorial just for now, so we're going to do it this particular way. Next, we need to explicitly add the address of the Redis Labs endpoint as one of the allowed outbound hosts. Without this configuration, the application will not be able to interact with our Redis Labs endpoint. This is a deliberate security feature whereby there are no outbound communications allowed by default. Each have to be individually configured, and this is done at the component level. In our case, it's as easy as pasting in the endpoint from our Redis Labs account. Please note though that you do need the protocol when specifying the allowed outbound hosts. And the reason I mention this is if you just click the copy button on the Redis Labs dashboard, it'll bring across the endpoint, but it won't have the protocol. Moving right along to the Rust code. In version 2, we have this notion of a connection. You can see here where we set up a connection variable. And once we have that connection object, we can set a value in the Redis Labs database. And then we can also perform a get where we retrieve the value back. We have a variable called payload here where we store the retrieved value. We've now run this locally, so in addition to this, we can deploy this application to Fermyon Cloud, and we do that by simply running the spin deploy command. And a few seconds later, we see that we have our application running at this Redis Rust application URL shown here. If we visit that, we see that all of the source code and the configuration translates seamlessly across to the cloud. And now we have an application in Fermyon Cloud, so not running on our infrastructure, but running in the cloud, and it is interacting directly with your Redis Labs database. Okay, that's about all for this video. If you have any questions, head over to fermyon.com. You'll find links to the documentation, to our blogs, to Discord, to our GitHub. There's a bunch of content there, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching.